Hi guys, welcome to Code Bashers. In this video, I will be discussing Wipro interview experience. Guys, this interview happened in April and this interview is of a guy who has been selected in Wipro this year and he is a 2021 batch candidate. Guys, if you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe it as well as join my Telegram group also. I post regular updates on different companies which are hiring as well as the questions which are getting asked in them. The link of the Telegram group is given in the description box. So guys, now let's start this video, and before starting the video, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button for this channel. Okay, so guys, the date of the interview was 1st April 2021. The branch of my friend was CSC. The duration of the interview was 40 minutes technical and 20 minutes HR. Yes, there were two rounds. First round was technical, it lasted for 40 minutes, and second round was after 20 to 25 days, that lasted for 20 minutes. Okay, so the first question that was asked in the technical round, first we'll be discussing the technical round, then we'll be discussing the HR round. The first question asked in the technical round was introduce yourself. So as this is the question that is asked in every company, the first question will be this only, and please make sure that you mention those things only in which you are confident in. Okay. Next question was how will you rate yourself in Java? So my friend told that I will rate 4 out of 5. So it means that he is pretty confident in Java things. Now, next question was how to define a variable in Java. So this is an example that how we can define a variable in Java. So we have a class example. Here, if we have to define static variables, then we have to use a keyword static int a, and if we have to if we have to define the normal variables, we can simply do int b. So this will define the normal variables in Java. Now, next question was what is constructor and how to define it. Okay, so first of all, the constructors are used to initialize the object. There is no return value of the constructor and the name of the constructor is same as the class name. So the definition of the constructor will be that they are used to initialize the objects, and the properties of constructor will be that there is no return value of the constructor and the name of the constructor is same as the class name. Now, there are two types of constructors in Java. One is non-argument constructor and another one is the parameterized constructor. Now, what is the non-argument constructor? Okay, a constructor that has no parameter is known as the default constructor. If we do not define constructor in a class, then the compiler creates default constructor, that is no argument constructor for the class on its own. So this is the basic type of the constructor that we can define, or if we do not define, it will get defined by the class itself. Now this is the piece of code that I have taken from Geeks for Geeks so that you can understand better that how a default constructor has been defined in Java. So here is a class Geek and this is the default constructor that has been defined. Here there is no arguments inside this constructor. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Next constructor will be the parameterized constructor. A constructor that has parameter is known as the parameterized constructor. If we want to initialize fields of the class with your own values, then we will use parameterized constructor. Like this is the piece of the code that we can refer to while defining the parameterized constructor. See, here is the class Geek and string name and int id are two variables. Now we want that we should give them custom values, that is the values of our own. Then we will define a parameterized constructor. This is how a parameterized constructor is defined. There are two arguments, that is string name and int id, that we will give while initializing the objects. So here how these values will get embedded inside these variables. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Now, next question was what is inheritance in Java? Now, we all know that inheritance is the property of OOPS in which class can inherit some of the data members or member functions from the other class. See, inheritance is taken from a real life example. We all inherit some properties, or you can say some features, from our parents. Similarly, a class. In a class, there are two things. One are data members and another one are data member functions. Now, whenever we declare a new class and we want some features which were present in the previous class. So in that particular case, we use inheritance. It increases the reusability of the code. It increases the readability of the code, that we do not have to write same things again and again using inheritance. Now there are few terms in inheritance, like first is superclass. What is superclass? Superclass, you can say, is a parent class from which the features are inherited into the another class. So in superclass, that is the parent class, the features or the data members are inherited to the other class. Now what is the subclass? Subclass is the child class which inherits the member functions or data members from the other class. So it is a child class, that it inherits something from the other classes. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Now, To define inheritance, we will use a keyword extends. Extends is the keyword that is used when we use inheritance in code. So this is how a inheritance takes place. That is class, derived class. This will be the child class, extends base class. That is, this derived class has inherited some features from the base class. Okay, so I hope this thing is clear to you. Now, next thing is, what is abstraction? This was the next question that was asked. Data abstraction is the property by which only the essential details are displayed to the user. The non-essential units are not displayed to the user. Okay, so what is abstraction? See, let's understand this with an example. Whenever we are driving a car, we know that whenever we press brake, our car will slow down, and whenever we press race, then our car will move faster. So but we do not know how the all things are happening. We just know a little bit detail that what will happen when we'll press either of these, but we do not know that how the brakes are connected to the engine and how the race is connected to the engine. So this is abstraction, that only a particular information has been displayed to the user, and all the non-essential items, we do not need to know that how brakes work to drive a car. This is non-essential for us. So all the non-essential things are hidden from the user. So I hope this abstraction is clear. Now, next was, what is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation? See, just first of all, in difference you can say definition. What is abstraction? I have told you abstraction. What abstraction is? Abstraction is displaying the useful information to the user and hiding the rest of the information that is not useful. This is abstraction. Now, what is encapsulation? See, encapsulation is a process where the data as well as the functions which can manipulate the data are kept in the same things. For example, a class. In a class, we can keep data as well as the functions which can manipulate the data. This is known as encapsulation. This is the basic definition of both these terms. Now, coming to difference, you can say in abstractions, problems are solved at the design or interface level, whereas in encapsulation, problems are solved at the implementation level. Now, abstraction is the method of hiding the unwanted information, as I have told you earlier, whereas encapsulation is a method to hide the data in a single entity or unit along with the method to protect information from outside. This is basically the definition of encapsulation only, that the class contains both data as well as the member functions which can manipulate the data. This is known as encapsulation. Okay. Now, next question was, how can we achieve abstraction in Java? So the simple answer is, we can achieve abstraction using abstract classes. What are abstract classes? Which contain at least one abstract function. And what is that one abstract function? The functions which do not have their own definition, that are known as abstract functions. Now, and the second way by which we can achieve abstraction is the interfaces. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Now, next question was, what is dangling pointers? Now, a pointer pointing to a memory location that has been deleted is called a dangling pointer. See, a pointer was pointing to a memory location, but after it was deleted. So that pointer will become a dangling pointer. So this is the simple definition of a dangling pointer. Now, next question was, what is public IP and private IP? Okay, so this is the definition that I have copied from Google for your reference. See, a public IP address identifies you to the wider internet, so that all the information you are searching for can find you. So we can simply find any information using the public IP. But what is private IP? A private IP address is used within a private network to connect securely to other devices within that same network. Like in a company, we use a private network. We cannot use a public network. So here, private network to connect securely to the other devices within that same particular network. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Next question was, what are the layers of OSI model? So guys, there are total 7 layers of OSI model. There is physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, as well as application layer. Now you will have to learn the definition of each and every layer. You can simply learn one line definition only. This will satisfy the interviewer about that you know the layers of OSI model. So I hope this thing is clear to you. Now the next question was, any queries? So this was the last question in the technical round, that if the candidate have any queries or not. So guys, please ask if this question is asked to you, please ask 1 to 2 queries from the interviewer. It will give a good impression that you really care about the company. So I hope this thing was clear to you. Now this was all for the technical interview. This lasted for 40 minutes. Now after 20 to 25 days, the result of technical interview came, and then there was HR interview. And the duration of the HR interview was 20 minutes. So these are all the questions which are asked in the HR interview. The first was tell me about yourself. It can be asked in HR also. Next was, so he asked about what are the difficulties you faced achieving these ranks and how did you overcome it. So he can simply ask you what are the difficulties you faced during in your life or during your engineering. So this type of question can also be asked. Now next question was, how are you in a team and have you ever worked in a team. So here you have to give a scenario that are you a team player or not, and if you say that you have worked in a team, then describe that situation. Now next question was, if you ever come in uncomfortable situation, what will you do. So again, it's a situational based question, that whenever you are in uncomfortable situation, what you will do. So these answer, I am only telling the questions of HR interview because the answer of the HR questions only depend on the candidate, and it can differ from candidate to candidate. Now last question was, what are extracurricular activities you are doing. So you can simply say you are playing or learning something. So these things you can say in this type of interview, in this type of question. So guys, these are all the 5 questions which were asked in the HR interview. So this was it for the HR interview. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe my channel, like this video, and please guys join my Telegram group also. Thank you for watching this video.